Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I wanted to talk about a couple of changes that were made in the last update last week for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now these changes that I'm going to be talking about are specifically for a couple of the reinforcements, because 3 reinforcements had their weapons completely changed, and on top of this the Death Trooper had a couple of other changes as well. So the 3 reinforcements we are talking about today is, of course, like I mentioned, the Death Trooper, the other one is the Imperial Rocket Trooper, and the third one is the Rebel Rocket Jumper. So I've had a little bit of time to test these guys out with their blasters that have been replaced, and I'll mention what they got replaced with if you guys haven't played the update with when I'm talking about them. But I just wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts and whether I think they're better or worse than what they were before, and kind of just give you guys a breakdown while some gameplay rolls in the background. Anyways, if you guys are liking these more frequent uploads, be sure to leave a big thumbs up on this video and let me know down in the comments which reinforcement currently is your favorite in the game and which reinforcement you also think is the strongest in the game. I look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts down in the comments, so make sure you leave that down there. Also, if you are new to the channel and aren't subscribed yet, feel free to do so because we are rapidly approaching 30,000 subscribers, and when we do, I will be doing a subscriber Q&A for all of you guys that are subscribed. So getting into the reinforcements though, we're going to start right where I mentioned with the Death Trooper. Now the Death Trooper's weapon was originally the DLT-19 Heavy Blaster, and it has now been replaced with the E11D Blaster Rifle. Now the E11D is of course what we saw them with in Rogue One, so a lot of people mentioned when they were playing the Death Troopers previously that it didn't feel quite as immersive because they were using the DLT-19 and not the E11D, which was actually the standard blaster rifle for the Death Troopers. DICE has heard this feedback and replaced it now with the addition of the E11D, which came for infantry as well as the Death Troopers in the last update, and I've done a little bit of testing, and the E11D is quite a good weapon, but is it better than the DLT-19? And in conclusion, I kind of think it is. It's a little bit more versatile than the DLT-19. Now you guys might disagree with me, but this of course is just my opinion. But when I was playing previously, the DLT-19, if you weren't using the overload ability, did not have a really good hit rate at range. It was kind of more of a close range weapon. It was really good in close quarters, but if you were kind of shooting at someone that was a fair way away, you had to have really good control and really good accuracy. With the E11D now being just a standard blaster rifle instead of a heavy blaster, it's much more controlled, much easier to land shots, and in my opinion it's a lot smoother to play with. It's just easier to land shots at a range, and you can use it up close and still be really effective as well. On top of all of this, they've updated the overload ability to no longer have movement reduction. When you're playing the Death Trooper, you can move at normal speed, you can jump, however you cannot roll. This is the one thing that they didn't add with the Death Trooper. I would have liked to have been able to roll around while using the overload ability so I didn't have to turn it into cooldown just to make a roll again. Similar to how Han's middle ability works now, where he can roll in the middle of it. That would have been really cool to see as a Death Trooper when you're playing him, if you could do that as well. But I guess that's what it is when you're a reinforcement as opposed to being a hero. They kind of had to distinguish some kind of difference and give the hero some kind of advantage. So no rolling, but you can still jump and move at regular speed, which is a really good change in my opinion. On top of those 2 changes, they also updated the blinding effect of the Sonic Imploder ability to be concussion based and increased the effective range to 10 meters. So it's got a little bit more range on it. It's now sitting at 10 meters, and they've also made it concussion based, which is a pretty good option. I don't think it makes too much difference really in the gameplay, but some people may notice it if they play the Death Trooper a whole lot before and they continue to play it now. So overall, I think the changes to the Death Trooper were a positive one. I really do like playing the Death Trooper, and I think they're a lot more versatile now because you can be much more effective at longer ranges. Moving on, the second reinforcement we are going to talk about is the Imperial Rocket Trooper. Now, I hated playing the Imperial Rocket Trooper. Out of all the aerial classes in the game, it was my least favorite purely because of the blaster it was using. The Imperial Rocket Trooper was originally using the RT-97C blaster, and it's now been replaced with an E11 for improved combat efficiency. If you guys didn't play much of the aerial before, the RT-97C was an automatic weapon, but it just sprayed like crazy, had very little control, the aim wasn't really great at range, and it didn't do much damage at all. For someone playing as an aerial class a lot of the time, compared to all the other factions for the aerial class, this was the weakest by far. And if I had ever done a ranking video on all of the reinforcements in the aerial class, this would have been right at the bottom. So I'm really glad they actually managed to change it to the E11, because I was playing with it earlier today and it just feels, again, so much better. Similar tweaks to the Death Trooper that they did with the Imperial Rocket Trooper. The E11 is just much more controlled, gives you better efficiency at range, and you're going to land a lot more shots when using it. I'm curious to know out of you guys that are watching this video video though, did any of you guys actually prefer the RT-97C? Because everybody I've spoken to has said it was an absolute rubbish weapon to have on the aerial trooper, and it was just really weak. I think if they buffed it a little bit, people would have been more okay, but changing it to the E11 I think was the best option, because again, it gives you much more control and it makes you a more threatening enemy. Now, last but not least, we are going to talk about the Rebel rocket jumper, which again is in the aerial class family. They have now replaced the A280, which was the burst weapon, with the A280C, which is an automatic weapon. They've done this again for improved combat efficiency, which is what they said in the patch notes. I didn't really mind the burst weapon too much. It took a little bit of getting used to, but I see what they're trying to do here with the A280C and making it automatic. It makes it a little bit easier for newer players that aren't extremely practiced with this aerial class. You know, you only get to play this faction when you're on original trilogy maps, and you can only use this class with this weapon during those times. So I think having the A280C as an automatic instead of a burst weapon just makes it a little bit more noob friendly, or for those of us that struggle with aim, it gives you guys a lot better chance of doing well. The burst weapon is definitely something you have to practice at, and I know you can unlock it for the assault class, and it's probably one of the better weapons in the game for the assault class, but I think having the automatic option on it is definitely a better one for those players, again, that struggle with their aim. So positive changes all the way around, I think, for these 3 reinforcements. I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay in the background as well. I just wanted to kind of drop in and give you guys my thoughts on the changes and what they kind of did to the actual reinforcements themselves. And yeah, the Death Trooper definitely a lot better at range now, much more efficient and effective, and being able to move and have regular movement speed while using the overload ability makes a huge difference in the long run. The Imperial and Rebel rocket troopers have both had changes to their weapons again, and I think it's a great change because with these changes has made much more efficient shooting and a lot better aim for myself. So I figure if I'm noticing it, you guys are probably noticing it too, and they've been really successful changes. Anyways guys, I am going to get out of here now. That is everything I wanted to talk about for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's something different. It's more of just a discussion video on my thoughts of what this was. So I really hope you guys actually enjoyed it because it's a little bit different to my usual content. But with all of that said, I am going to get out of here. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. And if you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. As always, thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next one, and may the force be with you always.
The Sith are all powerful. You are no match for me.